If you're thinking about volunteering through Worldpackers, stop and watch this video first. As someone who's volunteered 5 times now, I consider myself a bit of an expert. And while it can be an amazing experience, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. So today I'm about to share the 9 biggest red flags when you're applying to Worldpackers experiences and what to watch out for so you don't get into a bad experience far away from home. Really quickly, if you've never heard of Worldpackers, it's a work trade platform, so you offer a few hours of work in exchange for a free place to stay all around the world. There are so many different places to do it. It's really great if you're trying to travel on a budget. I'm not going to dive in too deeply to Worldpackers in general because I have a couple other videos that touch on that, but right now I just want to get right into the red flags, so let's go. Okay, so red flag number 1 is more than 20 hours of help per week. I'm not gonna lie, this can be kind of hard to find sometimes, especially in Europe. I feel like a lot of them want at least 25 hours a week. I'd say to cap it at 25 max. This is because a lot of the time people will say that it's 25 hours and it actually ends up being a lot more. So you can get yourself into a bad situation where you're working a lot more hours than you intended on. I had an experience where I was volunteering in Cape Town. It was supposed to be 30 hours a week and it ended up being really 40 hours. So if you don't want to be working a full-time job for free, which is what I basically was doing, then make sure you are sticking to this rule and not applying to ones that have more than 25 hours, or 20 ideally. If the job description is pretty vague, this is also a no-go. If it says general tasks or help around the house, stuff like that, you probably don't want to apply to that one because you have no idea what you're going to end up doing. You might have to be doing some random babysitting for kids that you've never met. You might have to be doing like putting up roofing and stuff like that. You have no idea, so I steer clear of listings that aren't clear. Asking for personal assistance outside of work is also a huge red flag. This happened when I was in communication with a few different people in Tenerife before I did my experience there. One of the guys I was scheduling an interview with actually had reached out to me and asked if I could do his personal laundry and a bunch of random personal tasks in a message before we had a call, so I thought that was a red flag and just completely avoided that and found a different experience to do. If the communication isn't clear, you're not going to be going into a good situation. If the person cannot respond to your messages very quickly, not provide a lot of information over message or on a video call or even set up a call, then I can tell you it's going to be 100 times worse when you're living there. Okay, so the next one is a huge one. They have to have listing photos of the room you're going to be staying in. This isn't a requirement on Worldpackers, although I think it should be. They just have to put up photos in general. But a lot of the time, they won't show photos of the room you're staying in for a reason, because it's typically a really horrible room. So yeah, this has happened to me a couple times, but in Cape Town, I was supposed to be in a dorm with one other girl and that would be fine, but it was literally a shoebox. There was no window, and the same sort of thing happened in Tenerife, but I was sharing with 5 other people. So even though I loved that experience, it would have been nice to see where I would be living. Not having many reviews or having mixed reviews is also a bit of a red flag. I always filter by top hosts, and that way you can usually avoid it, but you also have to actually go through and read the reviews because sometimes people will say great things and then you'll see some negative ones mixed in. You always need to pay attention to those just in case. I kind of ignored those for the ones in Cape Town and I regret doing that one. On the flip side, I had really great reviews that were written on the Zambia one that I just did, and it was an amazing experience, so I'm glad that I read those and paid attention to the overall really good reviews. The next red flag is when there's not many other volunteers. This is kind of a personal thing, but I really enjoy when there's a bigger volunteer team. If I'm going to volunteer, I want to meet other people. I don't want to just be by myself. I've had some experiences where there's only like 2 other people, and then if you don't get along so well, you're not going to make those friendships that you hope to make and have the experience that you're looking for. So I really like when the volunteer team has at least 5 other people. I think all volunteer experiences should include some extra perks like airport pickup and some extra meals. This can be hard to find. I have found discounts on meals, so 50% off at the one in Zambia I did from the restaurant, and I got some food, fresh veg and fruit every single week in Tenerife, and that was great. But a lot of the time they don't give you that sort of stuff, especially if you're not working a lot more hours, and I'd rather find listings with less hours and not get a free meal. So that's just a personal preference, but I do think they should 100% pick you up and drop you off at the airport. If a listing has extra fees, I don't usually apply for it. This is hard to avoid in Africa, and a lot of the time you can't filter it out at all. I actually spoke to Worldpackers about this. I think it's so annoying you can't filter because people are paying for the Worldpackers membership. You don't want to have to pay an extra fee per night unless it's like a really specific NGO you want to volunteer and donate to. I think it's fine then, but I don't like how there's a lot of paid ones on the website that you can't filter out. Running out of space here on my card, so I'm going to wrap this up quickly, but there are so many good opportunities despite being a couple red flags to watch out for. I had an amazing experience in Tenerife and also in Zambia, so check out my videos on those if you want to see some good ones, and let me know if you have any questions. At the end of the day, you deserve to have a great Worldpackers experience and not be overworked and doing free labor, so make sure you're looking out for these red flags when you're searching for different opportunities. If you want to try out Worldpackers for yourself, I'm going to leave a 20% discount for their annual membership on screen here and in the description box below. And if you found this video helpful, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe because I put out new travel videos every single Wednesday. And also, if you've done a Worldpackers experience, let me know what it was like in the comments because I love hearing your stories, and I'll see you next week for another one. Bye!